Hello and welcome to African Living Abroad. My name is Jamhuri and I'm here to share my international experiences, build bridges between cultures with the hope of making the world a better place. Today I'm going to tackle the issue of the residential school genocide of Indigenous children in Canada. It is a very hot topic at the moment. Tomorrow is Canada Day, and we don't know how we're going to deal with it, but that's a whole new topic. It is estimated that between 1870, from the time the residential schools were set up, about 40,000 Indigenous children died in the residential schools. And in May 31st, 2020, last month, the discovery of an unmarked mass grave with the remains of 215 children, Indigenous children, was discovered in Kamloops, BC. And this has triggered the search for more such graves. And this has got me to ask so many questions. And the reason why I'm passionate about this topic is the same system that the Indigenous people of Canada suffered under or are suffering under is the same system that many Africans suffer under. And that is basically the system of colonization. And by unveiling the things that went down in Canada, we would be able to understand what happened in other countries as well. Because in my country of birth, in Kenya, we have what we call boarding schools, which are also residential schools. And the residential schools in Canada are connected to churches, to institutions. And it is said that it is the Catholic Church, it is the United Church, and the Anglican Church. And so when the system of colonization entered a country, there was also religion that went along. And the same thing happened in Africa and in Asia as well. So I am in the quest to uncover the depth of this story and to understand my own history as well. So I have 4 burning questions. And number 1 is, these institutions that forced children out of their homes to take them and to indoctrinate them and to take their culture out of them, their practices, in order to take the so-called savage out of them, to make them the same as, to embrace the culture of the colonizer. That is already cultural genocide. And this happened not only in Canada, that happened in Africa and many other countries. And I ask myself, okay, this is not godly. People who believe in God know that God does not murder children. God does not snatch children out of people's homes by force. God does not eradicate people's culture in order to make them another person's culture. And so I ask myself, are these institutions a cover for something more sinister? And if yes, then what is behind it? What is that sinister thing behind this? And I would like to say that I'm a student of religion and I've majored in religious studies. And so I understand a lot about religion and spirituality, and I have a lot of questions, and I'm also a critic of religion. From the time I was 12, I could see between what is godly and what is man-made. And so that is another area that I will explore in the future. So we have to distinguish between godliness, the God kind of spirituality, and religion with so many man-made rules that destroy people. Number 2, apology and compensation. Are they enough to write off the atrocities that have been committed to Indigenous people? So far we know that the Vatican has not come through with the right apology or with compensation. What is holding them back? What do they have to hide? They need to come out and explain why they abuse the children and to come clean. Because I believe that money and words are not enough. Number 3, this has to do with the government. The government of Canada. It could be another government also from another country. Why is the government acting like the Vatican? Why is it arriving at dead ends every time the Indigenous people want to deal with this issue? Why are they hiding the records, the files with evidence of these atrocities? Why are they still holding the Indigenous people captive in pain and unclosed business? What is the government afraid of? Number 3, what is the connection between government, historically, the government and the religious institutions? It seems to me there's a symbiotic relationship between them, the way that they dealt with the Indigenous peoples. And if there is a symbiotic relationship, what is it? Do you want to know? I want to know. And I have my thoughts about it. It's not very good. But I'm sure very soon it's going to be uncovered. Number 4. Now that the rest of Canada knows about the atrocities committed to the Indigenous people, how do we move forward after knowing all this? Are we going to do something about it? Are we going to talk about it? How are we going to respond going forward? Because we've been quiet for a very long time and pretended we didn't know anything. But we do know. And I have to share that when I was a student in Winnipeg in the 90s and during the Gulf War, it was a very bad war and I got pretty depressed about it. And then people in Canada came out to protest the Gulf War. And I would say I was pretty, I was not very happy about it because in Winnipeg there was already a lot of injustice towards Indigenous people. And I asked myself, why all this hypocrisy that we would go and protest a war that's so far away? Of course, yeah, we can do that, but there is so much injustice on our doorstep, in our cities. It is all over the place. When are we going to make things right? When are we going to stand up for the Indigenous people? Because if they don't heal, we are not going to heal. And these problems have been brought right in front of our eyes so that we can deal with them. Let us have the courage to do this. And so I want to challenge all of us that we should not remain passive. Do whatever you can. And as I continue to do my work to build bridges between cultures and talk about these tough situations, I would encourage you to search your heart and see what is it that you are called to do. What is it you need to step up and do? Because the world is not the same. We have been given a lot of opportunities, and this year of 2021 is the year to make things right. It's the year to come out and speak what you need to be. We're being called, and I think that there's a burning within each of us. We have been shown the way. We have it in our intuition. That's where we feel it. That's when we know what to do. And to the Indigenous people, I want to tell you that I hear you. Your story is my story. I'm going to be a voice for you as much as I can, as long as I can. And I stand with you in your pain, in your stories, and I believe you. And we will come to the bottom of this, and we are going to be all right. It may take many years, but this is the beginning. Rise up in your spirit. Do not be discouraged. Rise up. You will be healed. I am with you. Until next time, Thank you.